All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Legend of the Three Kingdoms. Yes, this is my custom D&D campaign set in a pocket dimension in my custom made-up world that's already kind of screwed up, and now is even more screwed up because I created a dimension that's about nothing but bad stuff. So, yay! And the people below are the ones that have decided to let me control whether their characters live or die. And I just realized I have the wrong extension set up for D&D Beyond. There we go. Come on. Sorry for folks. Technical difficulties. There we go. All right. I think we're good. All right. Everything's working. Hi, folks. This month this has sucked. I have either had massive panic attacks or food poisoning every week. It's not fun. So, yeah. Does anyone remember what we did last at the time?
Brutally murdered an innocent monster. I mean, me.
Innocent, I don't know about that.
I may or may not tried to kill you.
I mean, innocence is in the eye of the beholder, really, isn't it?
Yeah, they're always mean.
Don't do that. Sorry, talking to my mic. It keeps me insane. Yeah. Well, why do I keep hearing buzzing? Do you guys hear buzzing?
Yeah.
Is it from me?
I think so.
But apparently Electro has joined the game. So that's cool. Quick reminder, we do have TJ Tales, which are the channel points for this channel, and you can redeem them to do things like give the players reroll tokens or healing potions or cool stuff like that. You can even help create boss encounters and stuff for them. So feel free to interact with the game. That is why it is here. Otherwise, yeah, I think it's time to return to the legend of the Three Kingdoms.
Do you still hear the buzzing?
There we go.
No buzz.
Right. So, the party has been transported to a strange land, separated across both the time and space. It seems that different members of the party have existed in this world longer than other ones. Commander, after regaining his senses and having a rather abrupt meeting with his twin brother and his younger sister ventures off to Ebon the Thorn to try and locate another member of his party, Argenta, who has been trapped in a loop of suffering and death. Somehow, simply by the intervention of Commander, he was finally able to break the loop, only to see that it had been caused by the man who had killed his former party. After he fled, Argentan Commander decided to head north towards Meisenford in hopes of finding another one of their wayward members. But on the way there, they found this hideous, horrible beast attacking and killing innocents. They were able to fight it, eventually killing it, only to find it slowly to be transformed into the corpse of Henri. And that is where we pick it up.
Is he breathing?
With him literally just having to transform back right now. Well, actually, go ahead and make a medicine check.
Sure.
I'll assist if I can.
Go for it.
All right.
Argenta, you'll have advantage.
18 with advantage.
Looking over, it is most definitely a corpse. You don't see any blood leaking from his wounds, but the body itself is cold to the touch, indicating possibly he's been dead a little bit longer than what you guys observed, but it's also possible part of the transformation also released a bunch of heat. He's not breathing. You sense no heartbeat. This is the corpse of your former ally.
I just kind of relay that to Commander, like, this is a corpse.
Can I search his body, the body, to see if like the carrying the normal things that Henri carried, and see if it's actually him?
Sure. Kind of going through, you see on his right arm he has the bracer that he uses as a weapon. As you're going through more of his pockets, though, he suddenly grabs your hand. And there's a shocking intake of breath as he opens his eyes and looks directly at you, gripping your arm strong enough that you start feeling your hands start to lose feeling. Henri, you're in a remarkable amount of pain. As you wake up, you look into the face of the commander, and you notice you have kind of a death grip on his hand. His hand, which seems to have been just coming out of one of the pockets on your robe.
Argent, you said this was a corpse. What's going on?
I mean, he wasn't breathing. He was cold to the touch. You've been searching him for a while. On me, you there?
I really hope you didn't take anything.
I just want to see if it was really you.
How do I know it's really you? How do I know it was really you the last time? And the time before?
What is this place? I don't know how to prove it to you, Henri. I barely have it proven to Argenta, and she's still with me.
Do me a favor.
Yeah.
and just finish it.
No.
I mean, I don't know if that's possible. It wasn't really possible for me.
Argenta,
There's
as
no
your
use.
or not Argenta, Genta, Henri, as your faculties slowly start coming back to you, you smell a familiar scent of blood in the air. You look around and you see the corpses of a few people around you, though not the most corpses you have woken up to before. And these, for the most part, seem to be mostly intact. They're, you've woken up quite a few times where there aren't corpses around, there are pieces of corpses.
I'll just take my holy symbol, just rip it off my neck and throw it. A lot of good that does.
I don't think there's any chance of that. This place won't let that work. I don't know. Something's weird. I watched you come back to life. I watched Argenta come back to life. Something is messed up about this place.
And every day, I pray that I don't. I can't atone for what I've done. The past, before this place, sure, I could have atoned for those. But that, and I'll just point to the... There's no atoning for this.
I don't think you would have had a choice either way. This isn't something that you chose to do. This is something that was forced upon you, it seems like.
Either way, it's me.
Because you were forced to do something doesn't mean that against your own will does not make you at fault.
We can argue semantics all day, but at the end of the day, I'm responsible.
Responsibility is always subjective. Come on, get up. I pick him up.
I don't know where we could go. All I know is if history keeps repeating itself, you're not going to want to be near me tomorrow.
So what happens?
Well, you tell me.
I don't know. This is the first time I've seen it.
All I know is that. How that happens.
Well, you're some kind of beast. I don't know if it was lycanthropy or if it was vampirism. All I know is that you weren't yourself. We killed you. You were yourself. You were brought back by. She just kind of points up, whatever this place is.
Well, if it happens again, just promise me I don't come back.
No promises. I mean, I wished that I wouldn't have come back around the 30th time. She's gonna tilt her head, but I always came back.
I don't think this place gives you a choice, Henri.
Well, I quite frankly don't care. I don't know what this place is, where we are. This clearly isn't Fenrish.
No, it's not.
I'll walk over and pick up or I won't actually try and say, I don't know if I saw where it went, but try and find his holy symbol he threw.
As you go off looking for it, you do see kind of an indentation in the grass but there's nothing there. And Henri, as you're kind of shuffling and everything, you feel a familiar weight around your neck. Though, with every day, it feels like it gets heavier and heavier.
The more I think about it, the more I think our, although I still don't believe it, friend, what he told me of the guiding beacon. I'm beginning to believe it more and more these days.
What, the dark one?
No. The one who went through time, because you know that's possible. I'll roll my eyes again at the thought of time travel. Remember, he explained that it's arbitrary war of the gods and that I was on the evil side, apparently. Now looking around, I kind of think there's some merit to that.
I don't believe it.
I'm just gonna kind of wander over to the corpses. And are they like armored and weaponed, or do they look more like travelers?
They look like civilians. The particular corpses, there's only the three here. Two of them are youngish women. They're both wearing kind of plain dresses. Nothing fancy. This is obviously like work kind of clothing. Though there's no dirt or anything on it, so with the fact that it's relatively early in the morning anyway right now, it's possible that these were people that had just woken up and were maybe doing morning chores or something when Henri found them. The third body is of a relatively young man, maybe 14 or 15, again wearing relatively plain clothing. And yeah, they're covered in slash marks and tear marks and the things like that. The boy has been eviscerated with most of his intestines hanging out. One of the women had her throat ripped out. It looked like the other one has just massive bite marks along her shoulders and her side.
Argenta kind of walks back. Well, let me just tell you this, Henri. I, for the past couple months, was stuck in a town not far from here. No matter what I did, every day, I would stumble upon hunters, I would join hunters, they would find me, and we'd be attacked by wolves and bats, and we'd all eventually die. And then I'd be brought back. Didn't matter what I did, didn't matter how I did it, if I did it the same, if I did it any different, how hard I fought, if I didn't fight. It all ended the same. Until recently. Whatever's happening is manufactured, and until you do something different, it'll continue to happen. Until you do something different with this one. And she kind of jabs Commander in the side. He seems to break things, apparently.
It's an interesting theory. Tell that to the countless people I've just made orphans. Or
that's the thing about this world. I'm not entirely sure how real everything is. They only somewhat interact. It's weird.
Hey, Jody.
Mm-hmm.
Since I've been here the longest, how far have I traveled? Have I just stuck to around Meisenford, or?
I would say, in an attempt to prevent yourself from hurting people, you have tried leaving, and it doesn't matter what precautions you've taken, you have never been able to actually leave this area. You will always wander into some sort of mist, and when you come out, you will be overlooking Meisenford, which is the town that's nearby. Every single time. So you're aware of other towns because there is trade between the other towns. The closest one to this one, and the only one that has a direct connection, is Ebenthorn. To this is the south. And you've even heard stories about, of vampire hunters in Ebenthorn being slayed by a local vampire down there. But yeah, no matter what you've tried. The one thing you are aware of is to the northwest is an area that everyone avoids, simply referred to as the Vanishing Mist. And the reason it's called that is because people go into this area where the mist never dissipates. It is always there. And they go in there and they never could come back. There's not a single person that has ever traveled into the disappearing mist that have ever left. You've tried going there as well, and you never got to the actual disappearing mists. You'd always get lost and then wind up back in Meisenford again.
So I'll relay that, not word for word, to save from double explanations.
Sounds about the same. Do you think that's the one that we had to fight in order to stop the pattern with me was the one that I had mentioned before, the Bloody Fang? He was there for some reason. And then he kind of died and faded away. And then his lair just burned to the ground or exploded, something like that. It was weird.
Yeah, it looked like a dragon. I don't know what it was.
Well, if you truly break things, as Argenta delicately put it, lead the way. Oh, and I'll point to where I see him pull out his ammo. Make sure you save some silver rounds just in case.
I don't need them. Let's go
As-
see this town.
As you wander forward, you do eventually come to Meisenford, which is unique in the local to the towns, simply because it actually has a wall that surrounds it with 4 guard towers and a single entrance. Because every so often, while humans never return from the disappearing mist, monsters every so often do come from it. And the rest of the wilderness around Meisenford is relatively dangerous. The walls were erected as an additional barrier to keep the animal life out of this city. And as you guys get close to it, you can see the town itself very slowly but surely kind of working itself up. You don't see many people on the streets, but there's enough that you can at least see some life.
Hey, Jody.
Mm-hmm.
Really quick, when I transformed, is it like big green guy scenario to avoid licensing issues,
Mm-hmm.
where my clothes gets ripped, or is it like a certain book series from the 90s where it goes with me?
When you wake up, sometimes your clothes will be into the tatters. Sometimes they will be fine. You're not 100% certain, because you can never remember even the act of transforming or when it happens. Your memory will just stop at one point, and when you're aware of the things again, you awake around a pile of corpses.
And I don't have my shield or armor, right?
You do.
Oh, okay.
You have all your normal equipment.
Just making sure I'm not walking into town butt naked.
Yeah, no. As you come up, a younger woman sees you and kind of acknowledges you. Henri, it's so wonderful to see you. Why were you out during the night? It is dangerous out there. And she comes over and she gives you a kiss on each of the cheeks. Who are your friends?
Do I recognize her at all?
Yeah, her name is Gabrielle. You've shown up in the town many times before over the past year, and she kind of took pity on you the first time she saw you kind of wander in, disheveled and unaware of what was going on. She kind of nursed you back to health. She's allowed you to stay in her house a few times, though not overnight, because you don't know when these changes happen, and you haven't risked staying somewhere populated during the night. But yeah, she's become kind of a friend.
I'll point back to Argenta and be like, "Well, that one's Argenta. I don't know. He never says his real name. We'll just call him Philip."
She goes, bonjour, Argenta, Philippe. I'm Gabriel. This one here likes to take chances with his life. Hopefully you can talk some sense into him. Have you had your breakfast yet, Henri?
Yeah, I'm good on that.
And she kind of turns to you. Have you two eaten yet? You are welcome to join me for a morning meal.
I'm okay.
You have time right now? You think?
I mean, you technically have nothing but at a time. It's
No, I mean,
relatively...
I was talking to Argenta. Sorry.
That's my bad.
It's alright. My bad too.
Yeah, Argenta just kind of goes, I mean, we could, but you might want to check out those places no one goes to. Who knows?
Well, I mean, you'd be missing out.
He flatters me. I am not a good cook, but I make a lot, and it is relatively filling. Come. You look famished. Come with me. And she kind of grabs Argenta and Commander and just kind of pulls you towards a relatively small, almost kind of hut. And as she pulls aside the drapery that acts as the door, you guys are kind of hit in the face with steam and the smell of something akin to maybe porridge or something similar to it cooking. There are little hints of sweetness to it as well, like maybe they've added honey or something like that to it. And so she kind of drags you in, and she goes over and finds some stuff for people to sit on, and she goes over to this huge cauldron that is hanging over her fire, and ladles out this really thick, lumpy porridge or oatmeal, and hands each of you a bowl of it. And it doesn't smell bad. She goes over and you see her get a small bottle of milk, and she pours a little, or she goes to it and goes, "Would you like cream?"
Yes.
Okay, and so she adds some cream to your bowl. Goes to Commander. Crème, monsieur?
Please.
She pours a little bit on there. And it's been a while since you've seen milk this fresh. Like, this was probably squeezed this morning. That's how fresh this milk is. And then she goes to Henri, and she already knows how you to take your oatmeal, and so she kind of preps it for you. And then she gets kind of a smaller bowl for herself, and she pours herself a bowl and adds some cream, and she just starts eating. Well, Digin, there are no formalities to observe here. We are all the same. And she starts eating.
Okay, I'll start eating.
It is very hearty. Very, very hearty. You can, as you swallow it, the milk helps because it thins it a bit, but your first swallow, it kind of coats your throat on the way down, and as it gets to your stomach, you can just feel it there. But with each additional bite, it just feels better. You can feel kind of the heat from it just radiating through your body. By the time you finish your bowl, you've got a pretty good kind of full feeling, almost food coma like.
So, how long have you been here?
Do I know how long I've been here, Jody?
The months have kind of blended together, and you have massive gaps in your memory. But from as far as you can tell, it's been roughly 9 months to a year.
Quite a while.
I was only here for 3 months.
Too fortunate.
Not too fortunate. I think of us, Commander was the lucky one.
Yeah, I guess you can call it lucky.
Well, from my understanding, there's at least 2 upsides. One, I don't know if you've noticed, but well, I don't have to worry about the sun bothering my eyes here. That's 1. 2, we all remember, this is out of character, we all remember, like, how we got here, right? Like, the events to it, or is that all fuzzy to us?
Again, you've been tortured for a year, so...
Yeah.
For you, but personally, everything from before you got here is fuzzy just from the fact that so much has happened to you while you're here. But you haven't forgotten it or anything like that. It's just, it feels like decades ago.
No, I mean, it's been a while.
It has.
And I'll look up to Gabrielle. Like, well, I think this has been fun. These 2 intelligent human beings. Well, 1 human being, I guess.
1.5.
We don't have to be that specific here.
They had the bright idea of going into the mists, so...
What? No, you do not know what you talk about. The disappearing mists. No one comes back from there. Stay away. In fact, try not to leave the town at all. There's plenty of work here. We have blacksmiths who need assistance, and there are farms just outside the walls, close enough to still be protected. There's no need a reason to go to your death. And then she kind of smirks for a bit. Oh, I get it. You are pulling my leg. It is not funny, Henri. You should not treat your friends such a way. Anyway, I have work to do at the laundry. If you wish to join me for the dinner, you are welcome to it. Unfortunately, I do not have beds enough for everyone. So you will have to find your own lodging. But, Henri, I know not where you go at night, but if your choice is between sleeping on the streets and perhaps staying with me, perhaps you will choose me over that? And she kind of looks at you for a little bit longer, place a hand on your shoulder, and then just kind of gets up and goes out her to the door.
I feel like this world could use more people like her.
There was, when I was still stuck, there was a dwarf. We ran an inn. He fed me and took care of me. During the day, it always occurred at night. Always at night.
Well, at least we have a theme. It's always at night.
Suddenly, you guys hear a very loud bell being rung. Dong, 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 da dong, 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 da dong, 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 dong. Town meeting, dong, dong, da dong, 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 dong.
Henri, is this normal?
For the most part, I believe so, but I've never really went to them.
We
It's-
might hear something neat, though.
You know that a lot of times these the town meetings are to report monster attacks and things like that. So one of the reasons you don't go is because you know when you already know that they've happened a lot.
I mean, if you guys want to go.
Well,
Yeah,
we don't need to put you through that.
that's fair.
By all
Blacksmith,
means.
huh?
Well, here's the thing. If you truly do break things, and you want to go, maybe we need to go. I don't go to them. Sounds like you're running the show here.
You know, I just... That old lady rubbed me the wrong way. Come on, let's go.
As Commander walks by me, can I just do my best to see if to see if he's an illusion or under an illusion spell, like if it's really him or if it's someone, as Gabrielle said, holding my leg.
Sure. Make a perception check.
Because Henri doesn't believe that it's actually him. Well, maybe I do with a nat 1.
I mean, it's the best illusion you've ever seen. There's nothing like a lot of times with illusion magic. There's certain tells, especially if it's a human or a humanoid that's attempting to pass themselves off as this is someone else. There's generally things like the face shape won't be the same. So looking at defining features like nose or their ears, things that are different on every single person, you can kind of focus on those little points and see the real face kind of bleed through on some of the weaker illusions spells. there's no bleed through. So if this is an illusion, whoever is making it is incredibly powerful. They have made a really perfect illusion.
Do I see him trying to figure that out or eyeing me up?
To be honest, Henri has been staring at you guys weird the entire time, so he's not doing anything more bizarre than he has been since you met him here.
That's very fair. All right.
I'll point Commander in the direction of where they usually have the meetings and be like, be my guest.
There's an open air to the tavern that's affectionately called the Gathering Hall. And that's where town meetings happen. That's where entertainment for the night happens. Every single night they have some sort of entertainment there as a way to encourage people to gather so that they can get a head count. Yeah, that's where if you wanted to go. It's near the center of town, so.
I would go, but I would, revert back to outcast tendencies and try to be just in the shadows, just there.
Okay. Not particularly difficult in this land. There are shadows everywhere. As the rest of you could come up to it, you can see a kind of portly, older gentleman that's kind of barking orders at people. You can see that he's wearing the regalia of some sort of priest or cleric, but the particular symbols and just the cut of everything is unlike any cleric you've ever seen, Commander, or Argenta. You guys are just not familiar with this particular sect of something.
No chance of making a roll or anything?
You...
Or is this that far off that I've just never...
Yeah, you... In particular, you've just never seen this.
Dang.
Like, you've especially you, Commander, you grew up around the clergy. And clerics in general all had kind of a similar cut. This person is much more wearing... It almost looks like formal, kind of almost dress clothes, but they also have like robes built into them. He has this very strange kind of stiff collar that rises up almost to his jawline. It's this very, very tall collar that looks kind of restricting. And you do see the presence of what looks kind of like a holy symbol embroidered in the fabric, but it is unlike any holy symbol you've ever seen before. It doesn't match any of the gods you've ever heard of. The symbol itself actually looks like a moon, a crescent moon with like a drop of water from it, and it's all sewn in red to the thread.
Does it match that statue or anything on that statue when I first went into that first town? And I try to climb.
That's a good question. Make me a history check.
16.
Thinking back, there's nothing that directly links it. The style of clothing is kind of similar.
Okay.
But beyond that, like the holy symbol itself doesn't seem familiar to this as a statue at all. But the clothing style in general kind of permutes the every town you've been in. They have this kind of very strange clothing style.
Okay.
As you get closer, you can hear him It almost sounds like he's giving some sort of a sermon at this point. Because as you get close, he goes, "Now, we've told you many times before, the walls were put here by our protector, and those that forsake their protection, well, they will be eaten by the wild beasts that have been put there to test us. Yes, it is a sad day that we must mourn the loss of 3 more children of our protector. But they betrayed him, and this was their punishment. Remember, we are here to serve him. We live by his grace. Every breath we take, we must thank him for, and we must never take this for granted. So remember, when the sun is out, we work the fields, we work our hardest to give thanks to him, and as the sun sets, we return to the safety that he has given us so graciously. Now let us all take a moment of silence for the poor lost souls found this morning. And something strange happens. As you're standing there and you watch everyone, like some people take off caps and they all kind of look down, you notice that it's very, very quiet. And then you notice it's extremely quiet. Too quiet. You can't hear any of the sounds of nature anymore. You can't hear the wind. You can't even hear your own breathing. All sound has stopped.
I immediately look around. Is there anything coming?
Nope.
I look over at Henri, and then, yeah, I'm just looking around as well, seeing, like, is there any source of this?
Nothing. It's just literally, it's almost like somebody turned off all sound in the area. Somebody hit the mute button.
Nobody cast a spell or anything.
Not that you can see.
Are they still moving at all?
As soon as you think to ask that, you see them start moving and the sound returns. Everyone goes on with their day like nothing has happened.
I just kind of...
Go ahead.
I don't know. Just I wasn't sure if you finished or not.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I just kind of look at Henri and I'm just like, this is what I mean when I say I don't know if everything's entirely real.
I'll mouth words like I can't hear. No, I get that.
As you guys are just standing there, you see the cleric, priest, whatever he is, kind of notice Henri, and he kind of nods and he sees both Argenta and Commander, and you see him scowl for a moment, and you see him get down off of the little pulpit that was up there, and he kind of waddles his way over. Again, he's a very rotund man. So as you see him kind of walking towards you guys with a purpose, you can see him starting to breathe a little heavy, and he kind of has to fight against his own body to get over to you. But he eventually gets there and goes, Henri, you seem to have brought some friends. You should probably introduce us.
I think you guys are capable of talking, right?
I'm Argenta.
It's lovely to meet you, miss. And you, my good fellow?
Apparently, my name is Philip.
Hello, Philip. Might I ask why you didn't remove your hat during that moment of silence? It's rather rude, especially when you're a guest into the town.
No reason.
Well, he's always watching.
Who is?
Our great protector.
Who's that?
Surely you did a jest.
No, I literally woke up like 2 weeks ago, and so I have no idea what's going on. So no, I don't jest.
He's new.
Did you say?
I think you heard me.
And you see his face you see this kind of quizzical look, and then this flash of realizations. You're one of them. Oh, this is wonderful. This is glorious. He has blessed us with another.
I draw my sword and put it under his chin. Why is it wonderful?
And you see him kind of look down at the sword, and he looks up at you. You see no fear in his eyes. You are full of surprises, aren't you?
Apparently, I'm known to break things, so choose words carefully.
Perhaps you don't understand exactly where you are or who you're talking to. So allow me to introduce myself. And he takes his finger and he pushes the tip of your blade away. I am the Lord Reverend Holmeister. I am the mayor of this town, and its religious leader, appointed by Lord Protector Noctis himself.
Go figure.
You are one of his guests, so instead of smiting you like I would any other peasant who attempted to threaten me, I give you a wide berth. I wouldn't want to upset the Lord Protector. But know this, you have no power here. The power is mine. And if you attempt to threaten me again, you will find exactly how much power I have. And he quickly turns to Henri. You may want to rein in your friend here before something happens. Something unfortunate. And he turns and he walks away.
Well, at least it won't be a very big grave we'd have to dig.
That's pretty deep, though.
You need a big casket.
Casket, you need a barrel.
You guys are generous.
So,
Now you see why I don't like coming to these.
no, I think, was there anyone weird in the town you woke up in, Henri? Not Henri, Commander.
I literally woke up on a dirt road. I don't. I went through. What town was that, Jody?
Klausgate.
Costco. Thank you. This is a small place called Klossgate, I think, and I ran into a woman and her child. They had her living in a home boarded up. I managed to hide from something. I don't know what it was, and met the lords of that town. They figured out who I was and let me go. And so I left and found Henri and then Argenta, you the next town.
Yeah, even Thorn, that's where I was for 3 months.
Well, now that brings up another question. Why the difference in time?
I don't know.
I mean,
I've been racking my brain since I woke up to figure that out.
Yeah, I mean,
I've been here the longest, it makes sense. And if he's behind it, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I woke up and a lot of my gear was not in the best condition. It was like I was just letting it sit for 9 months.
And I'll pull out my gun and hold it out to Henri and let him hold it. It looks like I haven't touched this in a year. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it looks about the same last time I saw it.
No. Jerk. No, it's like the outside of the barrel's kind of rusted and the handle's much what's the word? It's not polished or anything. It's shown a lot of
Worn?
aging and wear and tear, stuff that I would not let happen to my equipment.
Distressed.
Speaking of that, is my armor in a similar boat? Since it's not magical, my armor?
It's got a year's worth of wear and tear on it.
But it doesn't look like his gun where it's awful.
No, your armor has been used for a year. Unlike his gun, literally looks like somebody left it outside for a year. Obviously, he fixed a little bit of it because you can polish off some rust and the things like that. So it obviously has gotten a little bit of care since he got there, but it looks like for an extended period of time, regular maintenance wasn't done, preventative maintenance wasn't done on it.
I really need to find a blacksmith.
Apparently there's a good one here in town.
I just want to use his tools. I don't want him touching this.
I mean, you can ask.
Yeah, can you take me there?
I mean, I'll look around because I imagine this isn't a very large city.
It's not. So finding the blacksmith is not difficult at all. The city is large enough that a few hundred people live in it, but most people live in those tiny kind of shack kind of huts. So the town itself does not need to be massive. The only person that really lives relatively well is the mayor, and his manor is actually not in the city proper. It is elevated. There's a staircase that you have to go to get to it. It has its own set of walls and things like that. Like it's its own fortress. So yeah, fighting the blacksmith is not difficult. And as you get closer, you can hear the sounds of the ting, 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 ting. Obviously, he's working on something.
you get there, and is it like a big open set of doors, or is it just closed
Uh,
off?
It's again, it's an open blacksmith. So you can see like the forge and the anvil and everything are underneath basically a roof.
Oh, okay.
And the forge itself has a chimney in that, but everything is open air.
I'll approach and introduce myself.
As you get close, he kind of holds up a finger. One moment, friend. And he sits there and he finishes what looks like a horseshoe, and he quenches it, puts it down. What can I do for you?
I was just wondering if I may borrow your tools. I have need of cleaning some of my equipment that has been mistreated. I just need to freshen it up.
Kind of looks at you, says strange. You want to use my tools?
I don't really have any equipment to carry around that I carry on myself. So, and this looks like a great shop, and I don't have anywhere else to go right now.
And he seems. And he looks at you. He points to a set of the tongs. And then he points to the forge. Get that blank out of the forge for me.
Okay. And I do it. I
Yeah.
try to.
Yeah, and you've dealt with sword blanks and things like that before. Your small amount of the tinkering that you've done, you've dealt with hot metals, so you know how to pick up the tongs and how to do it and how to put it on the anvil, cook it correctly. And he watches you like a hawk the entire time. You know what you're doing. Here. And he kind of points over to a workbench. 2 gold. For use of my tools.
I'll give him 4.
He smiles and then goes to start hammering on the sword blank. As you get to the workbench, it's relatively well stocked. You don't quite have all the precision tools you're used to using, but you have a tinker's kit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So combination of your tinker's kit and the other tools there, you have most of what you need to get the repairs done.
Do I have any idea of how long that would take?
Looking at the wear on the gun and just how much work you need to do on it, you're thinking probably about 2 hours.
I'll turn back to Henri and Argenta, and I was like, this could take me a couple hours. If you guys wanted to go do something, or if you just wanted to hang around, just give me a heads up.
All right.
Walk around.
So, Henri, why do people avoid the mist? Is it just because they're told not to go there?
To be completely honest, I don't remember much besides this town and where you found me. I know I've tried to go to the mists, but then I end up back in the forest.
Sounds a bit similar to what happened to me. I could never stray far from the town because eventually, at night, they would find me. The hunters, or I would find them in the middle of battle, and I'd get caught up in it.
What I find weird is why do we not hear these stories from Commander?
Apparently he woke up and he just was able to leave his town and found me. Apparently he was never tortured, I guess is the right word.
Which is why I don't trust him.
I mean, I don't know the reason, to be fair.
Could be a false hope. Maybe it's a new form of torture. Maybe he was brought to us to give us a false sense of security that will ultimately get pulled out from under us.
You've come up with a rather fascinating theory there, haven't you?
I know that voice.
As you turn
Hello
around, that
again.
woman you saw in Ebonthorn is there.
Apparently, she and the commander talked before he reached me, and then she appeared after we had broken whatever cycle I was in. She does card readings.
I mean, good for us, I guess.
Well, when there are so many questions you have, it's always nice to speak to someone who has answers.
Maybe it's just this place, but I think I'm done with crazy for a little while. No offense, ma'am, but
None to be taken. Having someone who knows more about you than even you do can be quite jarring, but it's not particularly surprising that the outcast has decided to go it alone once again.
She knows a lot of things as well. I should have told you that.
apparently.
What
So,
do you make of all of this?
are you asking me or her?
Her.
You'll have to be more specific. If you're talking about the town, I think it's tacky and drab, and the mayor's a bit of a blowhard who thinks he's much more important than he actually is. But to be perfectly honest, because of how highly he thinks of himself, I don't think anyone could ever be that important in all actuality. He is a rather dangerous man, though. Do not underestimate him.
What do you know about the mist that no one here goes to?
Disappearing mist. Now that is interesting. Ilmorn on the other side. Well, they could do quite a few things to this town. Perhaps even take away some of that power the mayor loves so much. Sure, the mists serve a rather useful purpose. They effectively cut off Meisenfold from everyone.
Okay, I'll bite. What is happening to me, and how can I stop it?
Well, that is something you will have to figure out yourself. I can tell you this world thrives on suffering. It sustains it. So whatever the most painful, heart-wrenching, horrible, unimaginable solution you can come up with, that will be the cure.
Great.
I could have told you there is no cure, that she will be this way permanently. So take solace in the fact that it can end. Defeating your particular curse is going to be unpleasant, not just for you, but for the rest of your friends as well. All of your friends will have to suffer before you finally to the triumph. But, if you are wise, if you keep your friends close, you may be able to win.
Well, at least that gives me something now. I think I know how I can at least end mine. Why is it that myself and Argenta are going through whatever, let's call them trials, but Commander isn't?
Well, different people see curses in different ways. Just because he hasn't been here as long as you does not mean that he will not suffer as deeply as you have. Simply means his suffering has not reached its peak yet.
Well, I mean, we're clearly down a few members. I'll turn to Argenta. Have you heard from Lilianne or Vala?
She just shakes her head. I've been in Ebenthorn the entire time. I haven't heard anything from them.
Oh, that's just great.
The Dark Lord didn't want you together. It's much easier to torture you when you're separated, so he spread you all to the corners of this world, trapped you in your own nightmare. Interestingly enough, you're remarkably close to another friend of yours. Though by the time you see her, you may not recognize her.
Where's the next one, then?
Let me guess. In the mists.
No. The mists are somewhere you travel through, not somewhere you travel to. Ilmorn, that's where your next friend is. She's
Do we
waiting.
have to go through the mist?
Possibly. If you prefer, you could go all the way back down to Ebenthorn, to Clawskates, up through the Webwoods to Middenwell, and then all the way up to Ilmorn. It's probably a month to journey that way, or you can brave the mists. Get to Ilmorn in days, depending how long you spend in the disappearing mists. I mean, just because no one has ever returned doesn't mean it's impossible, does it?
Oh, I'm looking forward to this. I don't know about you, Argenta.
A better shot than nothing.
I mean, I was being sarcastic. I'm not looking forward to this. Not at all.
Well, unfortunately, I have other matters to attend to. Someone as important as me never gets a moment's rest. But you do enjoy the time with your friends you have. You can never tell how much time we all actually have with those we could care about. Before I go, would anyone like a reading?
Sure. I'll bite.
Wonderful.
You never introduced yourself, by the way.
My name is unimportant. What I say, much more worthy of your memory. As you go forward, remember to keep yourself balanced. Keep your thoughts balanced, your affections balanced. If anything strays too far towards hatred or love, well, the balance will be broken. The key to your salvation seems to be close at hand, though. Perhaps your vigilante friend might have it. Who knows? But before you leave the mists, you will see the scorching rays of sunlight. As many people believe incorrectly, the sun is here to heal, to destroy darkness and bring you into the light. That same light can burn, can cause drought and famine. Beware the sun, for it hunts you. Now I must really be off. Do enjoy yourselves. This may be the last respite you get for a long time. And she slowly kind of wanders off.
What is it with this group and just picking up and listening to crazies? It's astounding. But we have
What we do best.
Well, I guess let's head back.
Yeah. Go see how Commander's doing.
Got some insight as to how I'm gonna fare through this then. We may need to pick up something while we're at the blacksmith.
Alright.
So we'll head back.
As you guys get back, you can see Commander still working away in his gun, but it's looking a lot better. Commander, as you've been kind of cleaning things, you notice something strange about your gun. The sight at the end has almost rusted completely off, but there's a strange, almost engraving on the end that you haven't seen before. It's incredibly intricately done. Looks almost like a sword, almost. And you have no idea who did it.
Is it like, you know, it's engraved and not embossed or anything?
It looks it almost looks laser etched, to use a term you the player would be familiar with. In this world, it would have been done by incredibly small precision to tools. Something beyond your ability to engrave something so fine.
And you said it looks like a sword?
Kind of, at least part of a sword. It's a little bit weird to kind of look at it from the angle that you are, but there's definitely something engraved. And as you look at it, and as you were cleaning, you saw that dust actually went into the engraving itself. So you think the actual cuts of the engraving go down a fair distance into the barrel.
Is it just one, or is it on all of them?
It's on the end of each barrel where the sight used to be.
I'll make a mental note and just continue working on it and finishing up. See if it's on any other parts of the gun anywhere else.
For the most part, it looks like it's just there. And the sight itself is not completely... You had a sight on the end of each of your barrels. And the sight is not completely rusted out, but the center of this is a sight. Seems to have been rusted out, and in its place is this engraving, which doesn't completely help with the actual purpose of a sight. But it's there's enough of the sight left that you can still aim relatively well.
Okay. Are they back yet at this point?
Yeah, they could come back right as you're putting the final touches. You kind of spin the barrels a little bit. You hear the familiar kind of clicking sound as each one goes into place. It's very smooth. The rust is all gone. You were able to kind of sandpaper it off and oil it and everything. The gun looks pretty close to as close to new as you can find, as you can get it.
I'll walk over to them. First I'll say thank you to the blacksmith for letting me use his tools.
He kind of nods at you.
And I'll walk over to them and hold it out so they see it, the tips of the barrels. Like, do you guys recognize these engravings? I didn't do this.
Wait, you had two this whole time?
What?
I mean, that's clearly a different weapon. I didn't know you had two.
No, I've only had one.
I just kind of look at it. I'm sure I don't recognize it at all.
Go ahead and make a religion check for me.
All right. 16.
Looking at it, it kind of looks like a sword-ish, but you're not 100% certain. It's a nice and good engraving. You know, it looks high good quality.
I mean, it looks like a sword. And, nice work. She just kind of shrugs.
I really just want to know who did it. I didn't do this.
I'm gonna go to the blacksmith. Do you, by chance, have 3 pairs of pure silver manacles?
Looking for silver manacles. Let me look. And you see him kind of go and kind of ruffle through things. We have these, though they may not be pleasant for whoever wears them. And he brings out... They look to be made of steel with silver alloyed into it. Very similar to like silvering a sword. But on the inside of the manacles themselves, there are spikes that, if you were to close them on someone's wrist, would dig in and pierce the skin relatively deeply.
How much do you want for it?
Well, there's a lot of silver in here. $250 gold for all 3 sets.
Done. I happily hand it over.
Gives them to you. Might I say, if you're hunting werewolves, that will keep them contained for a small amount of time, but it will kill them within 2 to 3 days.
Well, let's hope.
He goes back to the building to the things.
I'll walk back to him, hand each of them a pair, and I'll keep one.
Argentin nods.
I'm sure you'll know what I'm about to ask.
In case you turn again.
In case I'm uncontrollable.
In all honesty, Henri, whatever that thing is, would just break these like toothpicks. I don't think these are gonna do a thing.
I mean, it
Unless-
depends if he's a lycanthrope or not. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's not
Look-
the first time I've thrown a lot of money at frivolous things.
Looking at them, Commander, with the fact that the spikes would be digging into the wrists, whatever creature that would be in these would have a significantly harder time breaking them, because every time they would pull against them at all, they would be stabbing themselves effectively. So,
Yeah.
strength-wise, obviously the creature you dealt with could break these in an instant, but the spikes do add a little bit of uncertainty in there.
Well, I guess we gotta figure out how to get through the mists. 'Cause apparently, we
I'm
have
afraid-
to get more.
I'm afraid if we try to go through the mist, no matter how many times we're gonna wind up back here because you are tied here by something.
Then go without me. I don't care.
This whole point is to get you out of here.
Then let's go.
Fine.
Through the mists we go.
So you guys exit the town. You start heading to the disappearing mists. All of you have dealt with the fog that basically surrounds this entire realm. So you're kind of familiar with seeing fog and mist and other things like that. But as you get closer and closer to the disappearing mists, this is different. Unlike the fog, which really just kind of makes the world fade out effectively, this mist has weight. As you get close to it and start kind of going into it, you can feel it kind of stick to your skin. You can smell it. It has this kind of musty, wet smell to it, with just that tiniest bit of acidity that makes, whenever you inhale it, the back of your nose burn.
This reminding us of one of the devices we found, the one under the tree specifically.
It's kind of similar. But not exact. If it was a language, you might say that it had the same root language, if that makes sense.
Latin
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah, it's another romance language.
Okay. Quick question, Jody.
Sure.
On the map, if we were to follow the edge of the mist, the southern edge, all the way to the river, and use the river as a guide to make sure we aren't going in circles, and use that to guide ourselves through this mist, how much time would that take to get through there, do you think?
It'd take you a couple days to get to the river itself. And the way that the disappearing mists will work is it actually forces you away from the river to where you'd have to go through the forest right there, which that particular forest is known as the wood wall. And it's known as the wood wall because it is so thick, and the underbrush is so thick that no one has ever been able to actually traverse the forest.
Oh, okay.
So, theoretically, you could just try doing that, but you would have to spend about a day in the mist, traveling in one direction to get there, because the wood wall borders the mist.
Oh, okay,
closely.
I see.
Does that make sense?
Yep, never mind.
I mean, is this an idea that you share with the group, or is that in your head?
The in my head part.
Okay. I'm gonna just light a torch and see what happens to the mist around me.
Okay, as you light the, as you bring it to the torch out, it is soaked. You try to light it, and it just won't light. Your clothes themselves at this point are starting to feel wet and are getting heavier as well.
I'm just gonna start dragging the torch on the ground to draw a line, so I know if I deviate while we're walking through.
Makes this a sense.
Just because of the nature of this, Argenta's just gonna like portal sense for a moment, see if anything's weird.
Sure. As you kind of focus and try to sense for portals, your skin feels like it's crawling as soon as you turn your sense on. The air around you, it almost feels like you're inside of a portal right now, and everything around you feels like a portal. The mist, the people around you, everything. It is the strangest sensation you've ever had. But it kind of overwhelms your senses pretty quickly. Make me a con save.
Sure. 19? No, 21.
Yeah, as you're sitting there and your senses are just kind of overwhelmed, you feel yourself starting to kind of succumb to the just shock of it, and you turn it off. And as you kind of wake up, you have to kind of blink for a little bit. You're blind for, a couple seconds afterwards. You can't hear anything. You can't smell anything. But very quickly, your senses start coming back. You think if you had stayed in that state for the full duration, you may have lost some of your senses.
I put my hand on her shoulder. You okay?
Remind me not to try and sense for portals. It's like everything's a portal right now.
Genta,
Yeah.
are you able to detect if there's any magic nearby? Not portals, but magic.
I don't have that spell, no.
As you ask Argenta to detect magic, Argenta turns to you and says, "Why do you even care? This is your fault we're here. If we hadn't been trying to save you, we could have just gone and found someone actually useful, like Vala or Liliane. God, everything is always about you. You don't even care that the man that killed all of my friends is just a few days south of us, and yet we came here to save you." Argenta, as you're kind of looking at Henri, you see him look kind of strange and then kind of ashamed for a second. And as you keep staring at him, he gets harder and harder to see, almost as if your vision is clouding. And as you kind of blink, as you look at him, he looks pissed. You see him kind of extend his arm. You see the whip come out. And you hear him say, "You horrible, worthless piece of filth. You couldn't save a single person without your dear friend. Commander, come save me. Commander, please. I can't fight wolves and bats. They're too powerful for me and my pathetic excuse for combat abilities. Just get the hell out of here. I can do this on my own."
Oh, that was all in character. No, I'm kidding.
I really said that though. Like, I think you could kind of suck. Just to let you know. Commander, you watch Argenta say two things simultaneously, and then you watch Henri say two very different things simultaneously. And each person isn't reacting the way they should.
I put my hands up, not at them, but just like up, and I look at both of them and say, "You guys hear that?"
And as you say that, you suddenly feel someone very close to you. You can feel their cheek kind of brushing against the back of your neck as someone's reaching behind you and whispering into your ear. Brother, why did you leave me, brother? Don't you know I needed you? You just abandoned us.
I ignore it, and I say, "Argenta, Henri, we need to get out of this fog."
Yes, run away, just like you always did do. Mother
Henri,
knew
do you hear
when
me?
you were born, you weren't worth it. I'm the one they really loved. You were the copy. The worthless duplication. And then you proved them right by running. The voice of your twin brother in your other ear.
I imagine we actually can't hear him asking if he can hear us.
Nope. As all of this is happening, Vala. You wake up. You can feel the satin sheets. Your very large four-post bed. Obscenely comfortable. Piled high with pillows. As you wake up, you can smell coffee. Hot meats being cooked downstairs by your sister servants. What would you like to do?
I will claw my way out of bed, putting on my soft slippers and gathering my robe.
As you put the robe on, the symbol of the of your title and position in the town almost burns you as you try to ignore it. It's emblazoned everywhere, on every piece of clothing. It's on the curtains on your bed. It's on your bedspread.
I will reluctantly head downstairs for food.
As you come down stairs, you see your servants bow incredibly low. Inspector General, it is lovely to see you up and about. We have made your favorite.
Thank you.
Would the Inspector General prefer to have his feet massaged so he may better root out the insurgents?
That will not be necessary.
Of course. Mine's respected. I shall have your clothing made ready for you. Enjoy your breakfast. And he walks out. Thomas is his name.
Thomas. Yes. I will sit down at the table and eat, not really enjoying it, but just,
Every piece of food as it goes into your mouth, you can almost feel it kind of turn to ash with how much you hate it. It smells delicious, but you just can't stomach it. And as it gets to your actual stomach, it sours and you just feel horrible.
horrible that I'm eating such delicious food and then not enjoying it, but that I can't enjoy it. God, this life is torture.
As you're sitting there, you suddenly feel very strange. The sound of the fire in your fireplace dies down and then is off. You look over, the fire's still there, but it seems far away for some odd reason. Your vision begins to cloud a bit. You realize as you blink and kind of will wipe your eyes, it's not your vision. Your house is being filled with mist. Suddenly you see across the table 3 figures moving around erratically. In your ear you hear, "Brother, why did you run away? Why did you abandon me?"
Do I recognize the voice?
Never heard it before in your life. But as you look closer, you see the outline of a hat that looks very familiar. That's
okay.
The commander's hat. One of the 3 figures in the mist is the commander. You watch as he slowly sinks to his knees, then falls on his face and stops moving.
I would like to go over to him.
You have a table in the way, a very large, heavy table, covered in food.
I will walk around my morning feast.
So as you could come around and could come closer, you see Argenta and Henri both there. They seem to be screaming at each other, but neither one is responding to the other, and neither one is making any sound. Then you hear another voice that sounds eerily familiar, but there's just something off about it. "Yes, brother, run away, like you did before. Just goes to prove you are a copy, an inferior duplicate. Not. That's what our parents always thought. And you proved them right by running away."
I will turn around trying to see the source of the voice.
There's no one else there. But it was so close it felt like someone was whispering it in your ear.
Can I go up and try to help Commander up?
Sure. As you walk over to him, Thomas is looking at you. "My Lord Inquisitor, is there something I can do for you?"
Help. Can you help me help this man to his feet?
He kind of looks at you strange. He looks at the floor. There's nothing there. "Is this code? Do you need me to fetch the mayor? Do you have another theory? Do you have more people to inform upon? I will get the mayor at once." And he runs away.
That's probably for the best. I'll kind of like, lift Commander up, or
He's
try to
not
help him
there.
to his feet.
Not there anymore. You're back in your home. There's no mist. There's no nothing. You
Damn
get this
it.
strange pulling sensation from the south. Seems like it's coming from the disappearing mists, which, even with your kind of rebel streak that you have, you've never been dumb enough to go into the disappearing mists.
I'll go back to my meal.
Okay.
And ponder on what the next course of action should be.
Okay. You finish your meal. You're kind of nauseous afterwards, but it stays down as well as it can. Thomas comes in a little later on. The mayor's unfortunately busy, but he does invite you to come to his manor house and inform him directly. He has already sent the guards out to search for insurgents.
Very well. I must learn more before come to full conclusions.
Of course, Inspector. Is there anything else I can do?
I require some quiet contemplation, thank you.
Of course. Your uniform is waiting for you in your dressing room, my lord and Inspector General. And he bows and backs out of the room, closing the doors behind him.
I will go and get dressed.
You put on your almost military-like uniform with badges and pins all over it. Much more pomp and circumstance, and even if you agreed with what you were doing, you think this is a bit overkill.
Yeah, I will do that, and then I'm assuming there's a balcony or a patio.
Sure.
That looks towards the south.
Sure. Your manor house is to the north of the town, a little bit higher up than the rest of the town. So from your balcony, you can actually see the entirety of Ilmorn, and the governor, not mayor here. The governor's mansion is to the east, and is technically slightly lower elevation-wise than yours. Though he has 4 or 5 stories, so it's still technically taller. And yeah, you can see Ilmorn to the south, and further south, you can see the very hints of the disappearing mists.
And I'm assuming I'm still getting that pulling feeling.
Yeah, it's just strange. Like you've never really felt. You've never been so certain of a direction to go in before in your life.
I will, because basically Vala right now is like fighting all of her instincts. She's not gonna go just running in there. She will start walking through the town.
Okay.
And kind of making her rounds, and I assume will eventually find herself on the southern edge of the town.
Okay. As you walk through the town, the populace itself will kind of sneer at you. Some of them will yell, hurl insults, things like traitor, other more colorful turns. Every so often, as you're going, you'll feel the familiar squish of rotten fruit impacting you in places. As you turn back, there's no one there. You make it to the southern edge of the town with only being hit twice by rotten produce, which is a pretty good day for you.
I will just kind of like wipe it off. I won't use prestidigitation or anything. I'll let the stain sit. And then I'm assuming I'm still kind of feeling that pull.
Yeah, it's gotten even stronger.
Oh, Celeste. Please tell me I'm not making another mistake. And I'll just... Knowing that I can't put this off any longer, I'll head towards the pole.
Okay. As you're exiting the town, you overhear a conversation. A few young men are going, "Today's the day. Do you have the explosives? We're gonna make that bastard pay."
I will kind of take a mental snapshot of what they look like.
Mm-hmm.
Do I recognize them?
No. You've never seen them before, but you recognize the look in their eyes.
I will use a third level spell slot.
Okay.
And cast Sending.
Okay.
And let the sheriff know that there's a couple of people with explosives that need to be dealt with.
Okay. You get back from this Sending spell. Always a pleasure, Inspector.
And I will add 2 more nameless names to my list and keep moving south.
Okay. From where you are, it's going to take you a couple of days to get the disappearing mists. Is there anything you want to do while you're going? Or anything you want to do to try and speed up the journey?
I will requisition some horses.
Okay.
Probably at least 2.
All right. They give them to you, no questions asked.
And I'll get some food and make my way south.
On horseback, you're able to make it to the edge of the disappearing mists within about 8 hours. You're actually able to follow the road most of the way there. And as you get close, the pulling sensation has gone from just a feeling to you're actually having to physically fight almost gravity at this point, where you physically feel yourself being pulled in.
I will tie the horses up.
Okay.
Or hobble the horses somewhere where they'll be safe.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will slowly make my way into the mists.
All right. Commander, you've lost track of the time. The sun doesn't shine here, so there is no day or night cycle. The mists are just always there. Your brother and sister, no matter what you do, won't shut up. They've stopped talking about you running away like a coward. Started describing how your mother died, how she cried out. Other more vivid descriptions of horrible things that have been done to your family members. Over and over. Doesn't matter what you do, they just won't stop. When you turn to face them, they're not there. Then you feel them whispering into your ears.
Am I still near Argento and Henri?
You don't know any more. The entirety of your existence now is just your sister and your brother. They could be right next to you and you'd never know it.
Say if it's been this long, I probably have a sword in one hand and my gun in the other,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm jumping at every voice.
Okay.
I probably have shot all 4 shots and just continuing clicking the barrels even though it's empty.
Okay. Make me an attack roll. A dexterity attack roll. Because it's a rapier you have, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh boy. Of course, it's 23.
Okay. And choose even or odd.
Oh, neither. Odd.
Okay. Do you want it to be an attack with fury, or do you want it to be an attack with your rapier?
Whatever does the least damage, so the rapier.
Okay. Vala, as you're going through, does a 23 hit your armor class?
Actually, yes. Yes, it does.
Crap.
Go ahead and roll the damage.
No.
And go ahead and treat it as a critical hit.
Jody, come on.
Sorry.
Let's see. Oh, I rolled low, so 11.
All right. Vala, as you're coming through the mist, you suddenly feel your side explode in pain as a rapier pierces you. And you look into the face of someone you haven't seen in months. You'd almost forgotten what Commander looked like up close. He seems angry for some odd reason as he pulls the rapier out of your side, and his eyes are completely dilated. He didn't even seem to notice you. It was more blind luck than anything when it pierced you.
Yeah, luck.
As he's going around, you keep seeing him point fury, and you hear this clicking sound constantly. This click, 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 swing, swing, click, 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 swing.
Have I seen Commander before?
I mean, you remember him from before.
Let me rephrase. Since I've arrived here, have I been seeing the party members before, or is this...
You haven't been hallucinating as much.
Okay.
You've had dreams where they've basically been disgusted at what you're doing, and they've walked away from you. But it's never been hallucinations. It's always been in dreams, and when you will wake up, a lot of times you almost prefer the dreams.
I will call out to Commander and say, Commander, is that really you? Or is this more illusions?
Make me another attack roll. This time we did a flat attack roll, Commander.
Oh. 14.
All right. Choose even or odd.
Even.
All right. Rapier or fury.
Well, since rapier's empty, it's always fury. Or sorry, fury is empty. It's always rapier.
Okay. So as you say that, you see him swing wildly with his rapier, and you just kind of move back, and it shoo, right. You feel the wind from it as it passes. I'm assuming a 14 doesn't hit your armor class.
That is correct.
Okay. So yeah, just barely misses you. Commander, in addition to your brother's voice and your sister's voice, there's a third voice now. You can't tell what it's saying, but it sounds almost demonic. And you can see a figure kind of appearing through the mist, moving towards you. It looks aggressive, like it's coming towards you with hands out. It looks like it's trying to grab you or strangle you or something.
Hmm. Do me a favor, Jody. Pick high or low.
I'll go low.
Okay. So I see the figure,
Mm-hmm.
and I turn and run the other way.
Argenta, you watch as he looks and his eyes slowly start to focus slightly. And then he does it about-faced and bolts. What do you wanted it to do?
Sorry, were you talking to Argenta or?
I'm sorry, not Argenta. Vala. So many names.
No worries. I will cast Daylight.
Okay.
And try to follow him through the mist.
All right. Make a concentration to check.
That's a Constitution saving throw.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's a 5.
As you cast the daylight spell, you feel the magic leave you. You see the daylight for a fraction of a second, and then the spell fizzles out, as you just can't focus on the spell enough to actually get it to fully come through.
Mm.
So you did use the spell slot, but the spell didn't take.
All right, I will continue trying to chase after him.
Strangely enough, you're not really having a difficult time following him. You again still feel that pull towards him, though you can feel pulls from other directions as well. So you're able to keep pace relatively well. Commander, the creature that you're running away from is following you and is gaining.
I will would you say I would have the wherewithal to reload, or if am I still just in this crazed mindset where I just can't focus that well?
I will leave that decision up to you.
Okay.
From what you have described thus far, you have been dry firing
Yeah,
Fury almost constantly.
that's what I thought.
So
Then I would turn, essentially stop, turn, and then have my rapier pointing out, like straight at the creature with my, I don't realize this empty gun pointing at them as well.
okay. Vala, as you keep going, you suddenly feel him stop in front of you, and as you come to a stop too, his rapier is right at your the throat as you stop, and you can see Fury less than a foot away from you as he's holding both, and he's shaking slightly.
Commander, it's me, Vala, your friend. And I will cast Friend.
Cheater.
Cool.
That's right.
Make me a concentration check, but I'll give you an advantage on it because that was a good idea.
Whew. That's 16.
Yeah, you again. Whatever this mist is, it is messing with your ability to concentrate when you cast spells. But you kind of fight through it, and you feel the French spell kind of course through you and infuse your words as you say, "We are for friends." Commander, you feel this kind of wave of comfort and safety just kind of wash over you, and your eyes kind of focus, and Vala's is standing in front of you, though she's wearing something very strange, and she's wearing pants.
The sword doesn't move, but I put my gun away. You look like Vala, but Vala doesn't wear pants. Who are you?
Things have changed. Are you... Is there anyone else here with you?
I remember that the other two with me. Jody?
Yeah. But it feels like you guys have been in here for months. Yeah. So, you came in here with Argenta and Henri, but you haven't seen them in forever.
I came in with Argenta and
brother, she's going to
Henri,
hurt me.
But
please protect me, brother. Don't let her hurt me.
I feel like we've been here forever.
We need to get out of here as quickly as possible. I think I have an idea where the others might be, and I will reach out and grab his hand.
You do have a rapier in between you, and he hasn't put that down yet.
Just put down the rapier, put down Fury.
Well, Fury's away.
Just take my hand, and we will find the others.
I don't put it away. I still hold it, but I'll take your hand.
Okay.
Okay.
Because friends.
Because friends.
It lasts for a minute or to 10 minutes?
It lasts for a minute.
Okay. So as you start pulling her away, suddenly, Commander, you feel enraged. You realize that Vala cast a spell on you, and you are pissed.
I pull my hand out of hers.
Commander.
Unfortunately, this is a side effect.
Yeah, he has been known to be hostile against me.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. It does say that at the end of the spell they know and they're angry, right? Or am I misremembering?
When the spell ends, creatures realize that you use magic to influence its mood and becomes hostile towards you.
Okay, yeah, so.
Then the sword's back up.
Commander, we just need to go and find Argenta and Henri and maybe even Liliana if she's in here.
How do I know you're not a hallucination too? You're not dressed like normal.
I know the pants are a weird thing. Let's just move past that and get out of this mist.
I poke her with the end of the sword.
Ow!
You do see her uniform, I guess is the best word you can use to describe it, has a large blood stain on it from where you stabbed her previously, and she's still somewhat bleeding out from it.
Fine, but you walk in front.
That's fine. Just follow behind. Just stay within stabbing distance, and I will start heading for the... I'm assuming I'm getting like 2 separate pulls, or maybe one general direction.
Yep.
I will follow the stronger signal.
Okay.
Closest.
Argenta, you don't know how long it's been going on, but Henri has just been berating you and yelling at you over and over. And whenever the words stop, the lashes start. Your back feels raw, like hamburger at this point. And everything he keeps saying is true. You caused all these people's deaths. You couldn't beat simple bats. Over and over and over. And suddenly there's another presence. And you hear Henri say, finally, the executioners is here. Now you will pay. And a pair of figures starts coming into view. What would you like to do? Argenta?
Sorry. I'm going to cast Pass Without Trace.
Okay. Make me a concentration to check.
Okay. 27.
You fail. You rolled to too high. Yeah. As you sit there and you focus on the magic, again, something in this mist is making it almost impossible to concentrate. But you do, and you feel the veil of secrecy start exuding from you. Argenta or not Argenta, Vavala and Commander, specifically Vavala. As you get closer, you see Argenta in front of you, but suddenly the pull is gone. And as you kind of look at Argenta, she starts to kind of fade from view as the mist gets thicker and thicker.
Argenta, is that you? Argenta, this is arcane bullshit. Just let it go. We need to get out of here.
Do I even recognize the voice?
It sounds like Vala, but you've had conversations with Vala before. You had conversations with Vala when you were back in Ebonthorn. She was kind of a bitch. Or a hallucination Vala was, at least.
How do I know you're real? Vala doesn't wear pants. And then I misty step.
I will need another concentration to check.
26.
What the hell are you rolling?
I rolled
an
18 and then a 17.
Are you trained in con saves?
I'm a barbarian originally, so yeah.
Oh! I'm serious. Like, how the hell are you like, that's not blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it is, you fucking barbarian. Cool. Ass is his hole. Yeah, he just... there is an issue with Misty Step. You can't see more than about 10 feet. So Misty Step does require you to be able to see where you're teleporting to. So you're only going to be able to teleport about to 10 feet if you did a do.
Okay, I'll teleport like 10 feet straight back.
Okay. Yeah, you see Argenta say a word of power, and then she vanishes.
Argenta, this isn't funny.
Hey, Argenta, this thing bleeds when I poke it. I don't know if that makes it real or not. I've been here. It feels like forever.
Do you need to stab me to prove that this is real too?
I can do it again.
Just hold on. You know, go for it. just means Thomas will have to scrub harder.
Oh, 13.
I will let that hit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can choose to not use your dexterity mod, so
Okay.
it's the same thing as voluntarily failing a saving throw.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, but that was an 8 on a D8, so that was 13.
Ow, you really didn't have to do it that hard.
In all fairness, I think you leaned into it.
That's true, otherwise you were gonna miss. Argenta, it's really me. It's really the commander. We need to get out of this mist.
Do any of you have a passive perception over 18?
Yes.
Oh, mine is 17.
Mine is 19.
Okay, so you just see Argenta like come up behind Commander and you.
If that makes you feel better, just stay behind Commander. We're going to cha-cha train our way out of here.
Cha-cha real smooth now. Boom, tiki,
Yep.
Boom, boom.
Wait,
Turn
no,
around. Boom, boom.
Come on, do the locomotion.
Oh, no.
Conga,
Wow.
that's what I was thinking of. We're just missing one more. Henri. And we'll start heading towards the last pole.
Okay. Henri. Argenta's body is in pieces in front of you. But she keeps getting resurrected by some unknown means and forcing you to kill her over and over and over again. You've lost count of how many times you've dismembered her, eviscerated her over and over. She will resurrect, start yelling at you again, take out weapons, start attacking you, and you will feel the beast inside take over as claws start to form out of your hands, and you will rip her into pieces. And suddenly, there's another presence coming closer. Apparently, Argenta has called in backup. What would you like to do?
Am I actually transformed or no?
You are not fully transformed, but you keep kind of shifting between your regular self and a partially transformed version. Just really your hands would kind of change.
I would try to... No, actually, no. I would stand firm and essentially look like I am embracing what's about to happen.
Okay. So Vala, as you come forward, you see Henri standing there, and you see him kind of just thrust his chest out as far as he can. And he drops his arms and he puts his head back. You see almost like a smile of relief on his face as he seems to be just waiting for the death.
Henri, it's me, Vala. I know the pants are a little bit off-putting. If you come with me outside of the mists, I will change into something less pant-like. But we need to get out of these mists now.
No, you're not Vala.
No, she is. Watch. That's a little better. 16.
16 is my armor class, so that is.
You feel another poke.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll
11.
the damage.
11.
I don't know why me being hit is proof.
Well, you sold. No, I'm just kidding. No, you're not there.
You want proof that I'm Vala? I will
Listen.
create bonfire.
Make a concentration check.
Oh, please.
I stand there with the sword ready to go again.
14.
No, it's not high enough. I'm so sorry.
Oh.
So as you sit there and you focus, nothing happens.
So
Henri, you watch as Vala tries to invoke the fire that she's known for. Nothing happens. This is obviously a fake. She's wearing pants. She can't make fire.
I want to try and cast something. I'm assuming I need a con save.
Yep.
Does Warcaster come into play, or is it special?
This is a concentration check, so whatever you would normally roll for a concentration check does still apply.
20, not natural.
Yeah, that's great. What are you casting?
My new toy, and I will cast Conjure Elemental and make a fire elemental appear just in front of me that looks vaguely in the shape of how I remember Vala. That's Vala.
Wait a minute. Conjure elemental from.
It's an invocation.
Oh. Okay, yeah. Sure. Did we? I thought.
Oh yeah. I'll make it
only do water.
Yeah, I'll make it water, but in my.
It'll be a very fiery kind of water.
Yeah, like boiling water.
Yeah. So in front of you is a water elemental that looks vaguely Vala-esque. And it sits there and it raises its hand as it makes the water kind of bubble up to look kind of like fire.
Oh, dare you. And I will attempt to cast Sacred Flame on the water elemental.
Roll a saving throw for your Vala elemental.
Let me pull up its actual stats. It's 15 plus whatever. It's a deck save, so it's 17. Oh, it's a large. It's a large Vala, apparently.
My spell save DC is 17.
So as you sit there and you conjure the Sacred Flame, which I should have made you make a concentration check.
I did roll a concentration check. I got a 21 on it.
That's fine then. So yeah, you sit there and you try and get Sacred Flame to work, and nothing.
Sorry, to be clear though, would the flame have happened and it just dodged out of the way, so it was a miss?
I mean, technically, you the way Sacred Flame normally works is kind of like a radiant smite kind of thing from the heavens comes down. So
Okay.
yeah, you would see this kind of flash of light that it dodged out of the way since it's a deck save. So
Right. But I'll be like, ha! See? That was radiant. That was light. Vala. With pants. Come on, Henri. Join the locomotion. I'm bleeding. I'm certainly real. Let's go. Just trust me. We're just going to go outside of this mist, and then you guys can do whatever you want. We just need to get out of this mist now.
How about I'm gonna ask both of you a question, and I'll point to Vala and Water Vala.
Oh, jeez.
What is the name you told me?
Friend. Oh, wait, no. You mean my name.
Yeah.
The water elemental gets it right.
Technically, 'cause it would speak
The-
like me.
The water elemental turns to you and goes. Blah, 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 blah.
It's. I'll
Which
look at the other two
translates
and
to
just.
the hell if I know.
I'll look at the other two and then kind of lead in conspiratorially. Daisy.
Okay.
Can we go now?
What about, and I'll point to where I, in my mind, eviscerated Argenta.
What about that there's nothing there. This place is playing playing tricks on your mind.
First, Commander, now you. Lead the way. I'll just have for the, what, I don't know how long it lasts. I guess it's, oh, for up to an hour I'll have Water Vala following us.
Do I remember how to get out of here?
It's a fantastic question. Why don't you roll me a history check with the disadvantage?
Oh.
Oh no.
Or I'll let you use survival if you prefer that.
But with disadvantage either way.
Yeah, disadvantage either way.
I will go with history. Oh. 9. Unless this Yeah, no, I
Wandering
don't.
around for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour. You start seeing other shapes in the mist. You're starting to hear people saying things to you. You were supposed to protect us. But now you're helping him? As you keep going, you come to a torture rack with a young boy stretched on it. You can see his skin has been flayed in parts as part of the Inquisitor squad is standing there. Who were your conspirators? Give us names and all the pain ends. Inquisitor General, please, come. Help us teach this insurrectionist the penalty for disloyalty. And he hands a sharp, hooked blade towards you, shoves it into your hand. It feels as natural as your spellcasting focus in your hand. You can remember using it 1,000,000 times. You see the young boy in front of you, tears welling up. Your hand moves without thinking. And then he's not there. Nothing's there. You're surrounded by mist, and you see your friends next to you. And then suddenly in front of you, a brilliant white light appears, and a face appears in it. A face you're familiar with. And you feel hands rest on your shoulders. You feel arms start to embrace you. You hear a whisper in your ear. I'm here. It's not real. That's not you.
That was me. But how do we get out of here?
You know. And suddenly, the mists part, and you see in front of you the road. It's about 1,000 feet away, but it's there, and you can see it.
I will make a beeline for that road.
Right? It's hard. This is the most difficult walking you've ever done. You keep hearing screams and cries. You feel rotten fruit hitting you. But you do eventually make it out. As you all come to the other side of the mists. Your head still feels a little fuzzy, but it starts to clear up. Argenta, Commander, and Henri, the first thing you realize, you are parched. It feels like you haven't had a drink in 2 days. You're weak from dehydration of a bit.
Now, when you say drink, you mean water?
Anything. You also feel hunger pains because you also haven't eaten into the 2 days. However, the thirst thing is slightly more dangerous. You do still have rations on you. You have your water skins on you. It just seems like you haven't used them.
How far away are the horses from? Because I know I went off the road to find them.
You look around and you don't really see the horses, but you recognize where you are. You think they're probably about 2 or 3 miles away.
Okay.
I'm just gonna down my water skin.
It is the best water you have ever had in your life.
I do the same. I don't chug it, but I drink it all.
Feels better. You guys still, again, you haven't eaten into the 2 days, so your stomachs hurt even though you're filling them with water.
Guys, we should take maybe a moment. Drink. Eat, get a snack. I have a couple of horses a few miles away. We can pick them up and then head to Ilmorn.
I hold my sword at
Commander.
Prove that you are you. I know you are here. I'm not going to stab you again. I was not right. But things have happened.
I will cast Create Bonfire.
This time it works.
What more can I do to prove who I am? Shall I sing you a song?
No.
Prove to me you're who you say you are. And why have you come now?
Touché.
I'm gonna reach into my bag while they're talking and just hand Commander and Henri a ration. They're back from when before we teleported. It's just that the rations, I assume they're still good.
Oh no. Oh no.
It is the hardest hardtack you have ever tasted.
I would instinctively use my whip to try and soften it up.
I bite it. It doesn't go anywhere. I look at Argent. I was like, seriously?
It's like
You guys
chewing
made
on
concrete?
it's like chewing on sandstone.
Yeah.
I have some meats and breads and wines. Not much, but there may even be some cheeses.
What is with your getup? It's a
Yeah.
lot.
Seriously.
It's a complicated story.
Are these metals?
They are. It's a little too much. More importantly, what are you doing here?
It's
He apparently breaks things.
apparently. Uh, hey Jody, how long has it been since I've woken up? Do I know how not exactly, but a roundabout?
It took you about a week-ish to get to Ebon to the Thorn, another week to get to Mama Meisenford, and you spent about a day in each, and another day or two going into the Mama Mists.
A week and
So
a
you're
half.
probably going
No.
roughly a week and a half to 3 weeks, or two and a
Yeah.
half weeks, maybe to the 3 weeks ish.
So I go to Vala. I say it's about 2.5, maybe 3 weeks ago.
Or no, it actually only took you a few days to get to Ebon to the Thorn. So yeah, close to like a week and a half, too.
Oh,
Sorry.
about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. I woke up in a ditch and face down, and all of my possessions were aged about a year.
Hmm.
I don't know what happened. I found a town, found some strange card reader who gave me a direction, and from there I found Argenta, and from there we found Henri, and we want to figure out what's going on with Henri, so we were told to go find you, and we got lost in the mist.
And then when he says that, I pull out the special manacles that I was holding onto. Like, you might want these, and hand them to Zala.
Inky. These would have come in handy before.
I hope not. They have a bunch of spikes on them.
Well, when I was going through my issues. So, I'm supposed to have the cure for you?
I guess.
I've been here 3 months. He's been here a lot longer. Weird
How long have you
things.
been here?
About 10 months. Give or take.
Weird things have been happening to us. I don't know about you. All of us except Commander.
No, he just breaks things.
Or so I'm told.
So what's well, so what's wrong with you, Henri? You say you transform?
I couldn't tell you. They know more. I have lapses. It's like I go to bed and wake up and don't know what happened. All I know is there's bodies.
After Commander and I had solved my issues and broke the cycle I was in, we went north to find Henri, the card reader we mentioned told us. When we found him, we thought he was a monster. It was this weird beast that could shoot spikes from its back and maul things easily with its claws, and there were 3 people dead around him. We killed him, and then he came back to life a few minutes later, and he hasn't transformed since, but hasn't been that long.
Yeah, did he change at all? Oh, we don't know. Probably in the mist.
Yeah, you guys have no idea what he was doing in the Mama Mist.
Oh, okay,
You were dealing with your own thing.
that's true.
What time of day is it right now? I'm assuming it's
Early evening.
Hmm.
Not quite dark or anything like that, but you can see twilight is probably within an hour or two here.
We should. It took me 8 hours to get here on horseback. I was traveling by myself. It's going to take us time to get back to Ilmorn. We may want to camp out here for the night.
You do know in this particular area, to traveling at night is a death sentence. So
Yes. So we should find the horses before it gets too dark. Are we going to be able to find the horses before it gets too dark?
yeah, you
Okay.
know exactly where you are. You've been here before.
Right. It's just going to take us some time to get to the.
It'll take you probably about half an hour ish to get there
Okay.
if you go fast. So
We should go quickly.
All right.
I will put out the fire.
Okay.
And then lead them to the horses.
So without too much difficulty, you're able to get to your horses. Do you guys go ahead and camp near the horses then, or?
Yeah.
That would be my suggestion.
They're a tree. Are they tied to a tree or anything?
There aren't any trees here to tie them to, so he basically just took a stake, hammered it into the ground, and tied them to this stake.
Well, I guess I'll see you in the morning. One way or another.
I think one of us should each take a shift watching you.
That sounds safe.
Yeah.
And with that is where we are going to end it for tonight. As always, if you enjoyed this, I do upload all these to my YouTube channels, youtube.com/TrainerJody. Go ahead and check out anything that are there. I upload new episodes of this on Sundays. But you can watch all the other episodes on there going back to the very beginning of this campaign. Otherwise, again, that's all for me today, and I'll see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye!